On tonight's show, we announce the winners of the Talk Posh Awards, relive the highs and, well, mostly the lows of this season, and we ask what players we should keep and who should be shown the door. This is Talk Posh. Hello and welcome to Talk Posh, a show all about Peterborough United, made by fans for the fans. We are sponsored by our friends here at the Alia Future Business Centre, Peterborough. The usual suspects are here: Posh drummer Adam, forever Posh member Ben, and Sheffield United's #1 fan, it's Posy.
Yeah, that's coming.
Evening, boys.
Evening.
Behind the camera is Alex, and sitting over there in the stands with the Posh fans is Chris.
Yes, evening guys. Remember to get in touch, use the comments below or tweet us at Talk Posh. Plus we need your votes for Talk Posh Goal of the Season, and here are the nominations. You can vote by commenting on the feed below, so go A for Edwards versus Charlton, B for Madison versus Charlton, C for Smith versus Bolton, and D for Forrester versus Bury. The votes will be counted during the show and we'll announce the winner at the end of the show. Luke, back to you in the studio.
Cool. Okay, so another season has come and gone, and unfortunately yet again we come out of it disappointed. After loads of horrendous lows and a few highs, I guess, against Wobblers and Millwall, we finish in 11th place. Before we go to Adam, let's see what the fans said.
4-2 in the end, weren't it? What do you think of the game?
I was disappointed with letting 2 goals actually, because I think we deserved a clean sheet.
Yeah.
We played well enough for a clean sheet, and I think the midfield played well today for a change.
It's good. So 4-2 to end the season. Been a pretty miserable season now, hasn't it?
It's been disappointing, to be honest with you. You think winning 4-2 last game of the season you'd be buzzing, but I'm just ready to go home.
I know. There's not. I doubt if there's many in there still like as they do their lap of honour, or I don't know.
They did the lap of honour.
Yeah.
And it was just an apathetic.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Miserable season.
Yeah, very much so. I actually thought today was the best we played all season. I actually thought it was pretty good. Not sure about the man of the match though.
I didn't hear it.
Lopez.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Nah, it sums it up. Sponsorship. Score 2 goals, get man of the match. He scored a goal, great goal. Second goal, deflected. And to be fair, I don't think he'd done anything else apart from, well, scored the 2 goals. Not his fault, playing in the right wing position. To be fair, it's not his position.
No, it's
you
not.
know what I mean? So, you know, I think we set him up for him to foul. But I thought, didn't have a bad game, but I don't think he was man of the match.
4-2.
Yeah, right result in all. I think it's a fair result.
Was you a bit upset conceding the last 2, the 2 goals at the end though?
I was, but I didn't get over emotional over it. We've won 4-2. That's the main thing we won today. So.
But I suppose, what do you think of the season as a whole though? Because it, to be honest, hasn't been great, has it?
No, it hasn't been great, but I mean, I've been supporting them for 50 years now. and I still look forward to the games.
Brilliant.
Still get behind the team.
And what would you hope from the team next season? I thought about the season, didn't I? And we weren't. It hasn't been a good one. You know, we're nowhere near the playoffs. It's not been great, has it?
Not really, but we can only get better by season by season.
And what do you think will happen next season? What do you want to see?
Posh go up.
Nice. So 4-2 today. A good end to a bad season, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when it went for half of it. Like around summer, I guess they just went back to Portugal. But yeah, we had a good start, and then something went downhill, especially after the Chelsea game. It's probably that. But
you're not the first person to say that to me today as well.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, we just went downhill after that, but at least we managed to get a good home win, end the season well.
The turning point was Chelsea when we were unbeaten near enough, I think, and it was all. We're like, right, we could actually make a go of it this season.
Yeah.
And you just get, like, it's been a slow downhill, and it's just apathetic, just comes streaming in. It's unreal.
So then, lads, I think a lot about that season came up there, but I think overall, a disappointment is probably the word for it then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it has been, to say the least, hasn't it? But like we said last week, I don't think they actually went over what I thought they were going to do anyway. We finished about where we deserved to finish. At the start of the season, it looked like we might have a better chance because we had Papazzoli being brought in to score from set pieces, brought in Guion in midfield, who didn't start for some reason for first couple of months.
Yeah, I think he started to watch down, he was alright, but then, like I say, it looked like he got dropped.
Yeah,
why he got dropped, I don't know, because then when he come back in, he was probably, you know, until he got injured back in the middle of February, he was probably the player that he was. I think if he's so fit for the full season, it would have been a very big push for player of the season.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, massive. Him and Inman together in midfield. If Inman hadn't got injured to start with, Papazzoli, if he'd weighed in with the goals he was meant to, and obviously we'd still have had to have found a striker to score. But we could have done better. But once the two midfielders went very early on, that was pretty much it.
Lads, McCann, I think, said in the press the other day that it was a mediocre average season. Got to agree with that, yeah?
Yeah. You agree, but it's his first season as a professional manager and on his own. You know, he's, by the sounds of it, he didn't have much help. And when he was with Wesley and Robbo, obviously, he sounded like he was pushed back a little bit. It's his first season as a manager, and I think realistically, if he got offered 11th at the start, he might have taken it.
He said he thinks that he's done well.
Yeah, but then he's disappointed. He said yesterday he's disappointed.
So would you feel that you've done a good job if you got Posh to 11th place?
You've survived. I mean, there's worse clubs that have gone down, isn't there?
So I mean, you would feel okay with that?
Personally, if I was McCann, yes.
Anyone over there disagree with that? So everyone in the
audience
is okay with...
I've got to say, from a personal position, we finished on 62 points, and I think the past 2 seasons prior to that we finished on 63. So in actual fact we've stayed on a kind of par we've ever been the last couple of seasons, and touching on the fact that it is McCann's first season, he's not taken us backwards or anything like that in that respect. And looking over the past few seasons as well, I think to get in the playoffs it's usually around 74 points, I think 73 this season. Yeah, so we've missed it by 11 points. I personally think, you know, that's a handful of wins to try and achieve next season to bump us up to the next level, and that's doable in your second season.
What is the concern though is the way we started off so good this season, and then we just seem to lose it just before Christmas. We always do it every Christmas, and we always seem to go after Boyle. And it was the way there was that talk a few weeks ago where had he lost the dressing room. And now we're kind of sitting here saying it was a mediocre season, it was an alright season for first in charge, but yet why were we talking a couple of months ago then about had he lost the dressing room? And that talk's kind of gone away, and I just can't get where that conversation's gone, and then we're alright now, we're happy with where we've finished.
We might have overperformed the first part of the season. They overperformed, they above expectations, and they put all our expectations up.
I mean, you can't say. I mean, let's take other teams for example. I mean, Scunthorpe were top of the league. They've done quite well to actually keep themselves in the playoff places. Yeah. I mean, are they going to... I mean, yes, they're in the playoffs, but, you know, they were top of the league with Cushton. I think they finished best part of 30 points off the top nearly, and it's a ridiculous amount And I mean, like I say, yes, we started well, and you know, Christmas time, I think we all believed that we probably would get playoffs, but to finish top table, you know, I mean, like I say, I only saw yesterday that MK's manager came out and said that he feels in his first season he's done well to finish 12th, a point less than us, and I think realistically, mid-table finished this season on Grant's first season. I don't think we can argue.
So where are all the people then that are like? There's so many people you look on social media saying that it hasn't been a good season. We're all like sitting there thinking we're okay with it.
I don't think we're okay because we're disappointed. You know, I'm not. I mean, you know me. I said it probably until about 3 weeks ago that we weren't going to make playoffs. You know, and that's with a totally impossible chance. But I think it's kind of sunk into us. That's the thing, and that's why. Yeah, and because it has sunk in, we've had time to actually look. And sit back and think, okay, maybe it has been an okay-ish season. And yesterday's interview to me with McCann actually summed everything up. He said that he spoke to the players at the end of February and said, who thinks we can still get promoted when they're 4 points off? And apparently only 40% of the players actually stuck their hand up. And I think that's awful. That's disgusting, you know, 40% of them said that yes, we can. And that's why I think we'll be very surprised, but I think it's going to be quite a big clean out.
Fozzie, you've had a few moans over this season, and especially with I guess players not sort of wearing the shirt or playing for the shirt, playing for the badge. And for me, that says it all. With that, with 40% saying they don't believe that they could get to promotion.
I think when you look at the season as a whole, I wasn't too negative the first half of the season because we were actually still stringing results together to a point, even when it was draws and people were disappointed. We were still getting good results away from home, like Rochdale, Bristol Rovers are classic examples. Even the draw away at Scunny. We won a couple of games against what I thought were good sides who were challenged at the top. Our record against the Strugglers was still not great, but getting better. But I think for me, the really disappointing thing is since, I don't know whether it's since the Chelsea game or since Oldham away, when I went off to Australia and all that, I mean, it just seems like a complete regression to Taipei of the last two seasons, where it's got to February, or even January in some cases, and it's just gone.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because he went to Australia. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on why it seems to go, Chris?
Just looking at the social media, really, people have been commenting on particular aspects of the season. I think a couple of people have touched on the fact that things went downhill following the Chelsea game. It was sort of like we kind of reached that pinnacle in the season. We couldn't seem to recreate that again.
You know, it was after the West Brom game last season. You know, we said that it went downhill from then, which it did. So do we need to say this year, scrap the FA Cup?
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
it's a great day out, though, isn't it? It's a big day. It's a money maker.
Yes, it's a money maker. But would you rather have 6,000 posh fans go down to London for a money maker there, or would you rather have 18,000 posh fans go to Wembley in May? You know, it's one of them things that you've.
It's the FA Cup.
The only thing is, I don't think Anthony, he loves the FA Cup. He's come out and said he loves the FA Cup, so I don't think he'll sacrifice that. But it's something that it's got to be going through their minds, surely.
Touching on a couple of other points on the social media, people have commented about whether our expectations are a bit too high, especially you consider the size of the club we are in that. I mean, at the start of the season, you'd expect the bigger teams to kind of be up there towards the end of the season, and it's kind of turned out that way. Even, like you said, with Scunthorpe thriving at the start of the season, that they've dropped away, yet it's teams like Sheffield United and Bolton that have risen to the top in the end, and they're the teams with the big tendencies, the big budgets probably in this league and things like that. You could probably throw Bradford into the mix there. They tend to have a fairly decent following and probably got a decent budget on the back of having the decent following. So, you know, are we just realistically thinking we're going to be getting better than what we are?
Did you expect?
I think what happens with Peterborough fans, and I'm guilty of this, we almost get this like Coventry or Sheffield United syndrome, where we almost expect that we should be in the playoffs because of the teams that we had in the past. We've always been a team that scores goals, entertaining, and we've always been up there. And it's got to the point now, I'm myself, where I think, well, we're Peterborough, we should be top 6 because we score lots of goals, we're entertaining. And that's where the disappointment comes from, because we're just not. It's slowly dawning on me, and a lot of fans, where we shouldn't by rights just be in the top 6. It just doesn't happen that way.
I think that expectation as well has a bit of a negative impact on the crowd and crowd sizes. We come here each week expecting, like, you know, fantastic flowing football, many goals kind of things in that, and half the time we go home disappointed, you know, with a loss. Even I think when we scrape a 1-0 win, people aren't that impressed by it. That they want that high tempo brand of football with the number of goals and things. They're the real diehard fans, but we've got a lot of fringe fans, I think, that will come if we're on a good run, if we're scoring lots of goals. The average attendance has dropped down. We must be averaging somewhere around 4,500-5,000 this season, and that, I mean, in the league itself, that's probably not a bad average if you discount some of the larger teams in that. But you know, we were pushing 7,000, 8,000 a few seasons back. Where have the fans gone? Yeah.
That's what people don't realise, I think, as well, yeah.
I think, remembering a conversation I had earlier on in the season with a couple of my work colleagues, was my expectations are kind of set up a little bit higher at the beginning of the season, because when we were actually not winning it the first half of the season, the difference was to previous seasons we were picking up draws, which we hadn't done in the previous seasons. We were either winning or losing. That was the way we went for the past 2-3 seasons. Beginning of this season, if we weren't winning, we were still picking up the draws, which got us at that table. Then slowly the draws started to fall away and they started to get more losses, and then as the season petered on, the worst thing that really affected us was the home form. We haven't had no home form down here all season, and a couple of people on the social media have also picked it up, and that's what's really cost us. But we had them draws, which I honestly thought was going to do us what we needed to do this season and get us them extra few points, which we hadn't had the past season or so.
But there's been some absolutely shocking draws at home, and that's the point is, at home, that's where you need to put them 3 points, really, don't you? And then some of the draws at home, Fozzie, you're good at stats and stuff, were awful, weren't they?
Coventry and Oldham are the two that really stick out for me, just because, again, I almost say it every week now, but you look at our record against struggling sides, it just isn't good enough. I mean, I think against the top 8 this season, we took something like, I think it was 23-24 points from 16 games, which might sound okay on the face of it, but if you want to get top 6, that's just not good enough for me at all, when you consider who it's against.
Let's talk about something that always comes up on social media, and it's about the formation that Grant McCann seems to employ, and that's the diamond formation. Lads, where do you sit with that? I mean, he's changed it recently, hasn't he?
I was going to say,
did he in the Bolton game as well?
Yeah.
Is that David Oldfield maybe coming in?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like I say, he changed it against Bristol with the sort of Leo and Freestone and sort of wing backs-ish, and it worked. They both played it yesterday, and it was horrendous. I mean, but it's, you know, you've got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old as wing backs against, let's be honest, Bolton actually kind of kept their squad together quite well this year and against a championship club. So, I mean, they struggled. But yeah, it looks a good formation. But like I say, it's having the. We can't say we're going to play that next year because you don't know who we're going to have.
It's also technically one formation isn't going to work every time.
No. So because teams are going to suss you out.
Good formation to play against Bristol wasn't a good one to play against Bolton.
No.
That formation will work against a few teams, but it's not going to against the better ones. And that's when you have to come up with yet another way of playing. We've got 2 ways of playing at the moment. We need at least the third.
Yeah,
we're just too predictable.
Yeah, 100%.
Lads, in the orders, any thingy on the diamonds or the new formation?
I've not been a fan of the diamond all season, have I really? But I wonder whether this kind of goes back to why we sacked was it Lee Glover as assistant? Was he not bringing enough kind of options to the coaching team in that? Yeah, Oldfield. Yeah.
One thing I will say is about having 2 or 3 styles of play. You actually look, the season we went down, we would start the game with playing the diamond formation, and I can remember it quite vividly. Where I think it was Wolverhampton at home, where the diamond wasn't working. Half time, we changed it to something like a 2-5-3 or something like that. Ended up winning. So, but that's because we had the players there. So if we can have players that are a bit more adaptable, then it might work. If we can, some way through the game, just say, right, we're going to just change it up. This isn't working. Just give it another go.
I think touching on the point you said as well about the formation with the 3 across the back with the 2 wing backs, like they are very young players that we're putting into some of these positions and things. I think watching the Bolton game, there was a comment by one of the commentators where De Silva went off and Borg came on, and they actually said it's not often you take an 18-year-old off the pitch, bring on somebody else, and the average age of the team drops. I mean, we are relying. There are quite a few young players in that team, and they will get better over time with more exposure. We've got to, as fans though, allow them to do that. I think the last few games of the season, Chetles looked fantastic for us, and yet he wasn't getting a look in earlier on in the season and things like that.
Because I mean, I know Leo's played all season, but I think Freestone and Borg have come in literally because the season's dead, and he wants to give them that time. Whereas Chettle, I think he has brought in for the future, and realistically, he could go straight into the starting 11 next season.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right, well, I think we'll move on just quickly. So it's time for our first Talk Posh award of the evening. This award, well, to be fair, it's not really an award. We haven't got a trophy or anything. The budget couldn't stretch that far. We bought too many beers. So first award is for the best moment of the season, as voted for by our Twitter followers. The nominations are...
Forrester. Now Zuma's missed that. Here's Angle. All brought down by John Terry. And it's a free kick. And what will this mean for the Chelsea captain? Kevin Friend giving himself a bit of thinking time here. Peterborough fans are baying for a red card. And it is a red card for John Terry.
Cool, yeah, so they were the nominations, and the winner was Forrester at Cobblers, as voted by everyone on Twitter. Unfortunately, Chris cannot be with us tonight to pick up the non-trophy, but he did send us this fake message. I was so happy scoring against that lot, I went out and bought myself a new baseball cap. Cheers for the award. Talk Posh. Boss of a minute. Yeah, what a guy, what a guy. Okay, so up next, Adam counts down his top 5 away days from this season. See you in a bit.
The sound needs sorting out, can hardly hear
Adam,
something.
over to you, mate. Your top 5 away days from this season?
Top 5, yeah. Like I say, I mean, I only missed 3 league games this season. The only away in the league was Shrewsbury because that was a Tuesday night and I literally couldn't finish work in time. Like I say, we've got the pictures coming up behind us now in a minute, but I think you've got to say, as a, you know, mine, and I think everyone else's, Northampton away, it was number 1. Hey?
You're going 5-1, mate.
5-1. So I mean, yeah, but well, 5-1. I might as well go 23-1. But no, it's a, like I say, that it was probably, you know, I mean, Chelsea was, it was a good day out for us. Chelsea, it was a good day, but like I say, it was everyone that you hadn't seen this season. It was good for the club having 6,000 there, but it was standing around with, you know, the people that were saying, "Can you sit down? You're in my seat."
What's happened? Just go.
Alia Innovation Lab, the UK's newest and best equipped innovation lab for entrepreneurs, startups and SMEs who want to make a positive impact on people, planet or place. Where can your idea...
Sorry about that, Alex messed up.
That's why there wasn't the Director of the Year award. But no, like I say, Chelsea, it was good. I mean, for us to get the goal there with Tom Nichols, I think realistically, even though we were losing at that point and I'd never had any chance of coming back, it was good for the club, you know, and it probably made the day, to be honest, didn't it? You know,
we should have had a second goal, though, shouldn't we? Really?
Well, I think Angol should have scored in the first 5 minutes, shouldn't he? And then that would have made everything different.
So a good day. That was your number 5. What's your number 4?
Number 4 was Coventry. Always actually like going to Coventry, even though we go 2-0 up and lose 3-2. This year we didn't go up and just lost. It's like I say, this year I think we went to Nuneaton to start off with. George in as well came with us that day, didn't you?
I was in Sheffield.
You was in Sheffield, so he
all
didn't
I
know
will
that.
say is the food delivery service in Coventry is yet to be designed.
Fantastic, you know, that was the Just Eat moment. So that was the best food of the season.
This is when you ordered your Just Eat.
I did get my Just Eat to the stadium that way on, yeah. But like I say, we went to Nuneaton first, and then because Coventry have just got a train station outside their ground now called the I think
it's called the Ricoh Arena.
No, it's not. It's Coventry Arena or something now. So you can actually get a train there, where usually you had to go either into Coventry or into Bedworth and get a taxi there. So realistically, that's better for them. Be good for the League Two clubs.
Okay, so what's your number 3?
Number 3 was Southend. This was earlier on in the season, back in September, which I actually really enjoyed. No one seemed to like Southend, but I actually really enjoyed Southend. It was hot, down at the Seaside Resort, bag of chips, donuts. And but no, that was a good one. Like I said, next year, probably a couple of them actually did the weekend there this year, and I probably might even do that next year. But like I say, it was helped by Marcus Maddison, what a player, equaliser in the last minutes.
We'll talk about him later.
But yeah, like I say, I actually really actually enjoyed Southend.
Cool.
But it was like I say, and then the next one was Charlton, just before Christmas, and like I say, we took nearly 1,000 fans there, which was quite. You know, it was good because actually on the Tuesday then we had Notts County back at home. So yeah, like I say, I really enjoyed Charlton, and obviously we got to see Guillon's got a goal from nearly the halfway line, and I'll never forget the Michael Bostwick song at Charlton, which was the rendition of Last Christmas. Yeah. I'll give it to Michael Bostwick. So I'm looking forward to Christmas this year if Bostwick stays.
And your number 1 away day?
Number 1, like I say, was at a place called something Fields. I can't think what it's called. But it looks like that, and it's something Fields. But it's yeah, like I say, it was good to go there again for the first time in quite a few years. Wasn't it? It was good to have the rivalry back. I'm quite pleased that we actually had them on a Saturday at their place, and they had to come here on a Tuesday. But we went up on actually got a coach. All of us lads, we got a coach there. And we stopped off at Oundle because, like I say, just for the police problems. George definitely came with to that one. Yep. But like I say, I said, yeah, that was a good day. And then we went into Northampton. But it was bad to see the trouble that happened outside the ground straight after. But then when you get a 90th minute winner, you know, it meant the double. I can imagine I was a bit angry. And there's one thing I'm actually worried about next year is that they might come back and haunt us. Because I would have hated to be on the receiving end of that. You know, we've lost some. You know, when we got foot by MK back here 4-0 in January, that wasn't nice.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember anything.
I wish I didn't remember, but like I say, I've got a bit more digging when I got back home, didn't I? So it's yeah, it wasn't nice that. But like I say, that's the only thing I don't want us to see getting on a drubbing from Northampton.
Well,
you know.
No one wants that.
You know, and there you go. You say Beckham's had a bad season. He's done you the double over Northampton. So realistically, that's the season, isn't it? So
happy days. Cheers for that, mate. All good. Let's go for the next award then. And the next award is for the Talk Posh Young Player of the Season, as voted for by our Twitter's followers. The nominations were Lopez, Luke McGee, Callum Chettle, or Junior. And the winner was Luke McGee. Yeah, unfortunately, Luke cannot be with us tonight to pick up the non-trophy. I know. But he did send us this fake message. Cheers, Talk Posh. I will see you next season when I take a huge pay cut to be the Posh number 1.
Brilliant.
I know, great.
He did actually. He put something on Instagram yesterday, just thanking the actual the club, the fans, everyone for his time. And he says it won't forget it. Realistically, I think if I can't see it next season, but I think we've actually found sort of a little place in his heart because he's one of the players that have actually worn the badge, you know, and I bet when that 40% put their hand up and said to get promotion, I bet he was one of them.
Mr. Cole, what do you think about this?
I think he was totally committed to the Posh. When Bristol Rovers scored their second goal in the 92nd or 3rd minute, he kicked the ball almost out of the ground. He was so wound up. The game was won. It was over. The end of the season, it didn't matter, but it mattered to him. It really mattered to him. And I know he fell out with Dominic Ball, didn't he? And he gets so wound up But in some respects, that's good because he would win one of the 40% that would have said we should have gone up, because he wants to win, and you need players with that mentality, to be honest. And I just think we need quality players. I mean, we've got some nice little players, but we need quality players, you know. And we were talking about the diamond formation. The diamond formation's brilliant if you've got the players to play it. Sadly, we didn't have the players stepping up to the mark to do it. I mean, when we had, you know, you had your Tommy Rowe, your George Boyd, and your players like that, Grant McCann, Diamond was easy. We made it look so easy. But when we've got what we've got to do other things. Like you said, we've got to have plan B, C, and probably even D as well, because, you know, just the formation of the diamond doesn't work. Sorry, I've gone off the track as usual. Hey?
Yeah, I think what is quite a sorry state though is the fact that the player of the season, or young player of the season, is actually a lone player. It's quite worrying. You know, he's fighting for his future. Not fighting, but what I mean is he wants to progress, and he is going to be one of the, you know, the top young lads. Who knows, potential England future. You just don't know, but he's such a good player. I know a couple of Spurs fans who was actually disappointed that he come to Peterborough on loan. They was hoping he was going to be like the Tottenham number 2. He's regarded that well. So, you know, fair play to him. Thank him for his this year. We ain't going to see him again in the posh shirt, unfortunately. But you know, good luck to him for the future. I think he's a top bloke. There we go.
Cheers, Dalton. Thanks for not swearing, mate. Appreciate that.
But I mean, you've got to think that's got to be our number 1 signing, a keeper, because it's, well, like we've just said, we've given it to a lone player. You know, we've tried to get promotion with a lone player in goal, and although he's done well, we haven't got it. But it's got to be one of our. It's got to be on the top there for next year.
We haven't got a keeper under contract technically now.
Well, exactly, because I mean Tyler's going to get a decent deal, and it's
Henry hasn't.
But the worst thing is it's the keepers that are out there. You know, who would you bring in? It's.
I think there's been a couple of things come on social media about that, and keepers.
Yeah, Sean has rated the Brentford keeper Bentley as one hell of a keeper. Paul's been optimistic and saying we should bring in Hart next season. Yeah, I think somewhat worrying that we've not kind of realised this season as well, with McGee being on loan and not having another keeper under contract apart from Tyler, who's in the coaching staff. If Spurs had suddenly turned around to us and called his loan short for whatever reason, we'd have been left with just Tyler. We would have really been struggling there. We're very lucky he didn't get injured or anything like that at all. That would, you know, it's not one of those positions where you probably got 3 or 4 players who could probably step in. We had one player really all season who could have covered, and that's a worry actually.
Don't we have that trialist who's training at Coventry?
They had, I think.
Jack Rose. Yeah, Jack Rose.
We had a. They had a game, I think, the reserve team the other day, and they had 2 trialists in goal for the first and second half. Again, one of these where they don't release the names and things like that. So there's obviously planning going on there in preparation, and I would have thought.
You just said Jack Rose from WBA.
Yeah. He becomes
signing very soon. He says.
Well,
is he another
Daz Moody there? Done deal.
Done deal.
But like, I mean, the thing is because he comes.
He's signing. You know, the guy said he knows where the goal is. He didn't say a striker, could be the goalkeeper. Who knows?
Talking about signings and stuff like that, obviously we're going to look forward now to next season and what players we will let go and who we need to bring in. So let's start with players that might be leaving, and we want you to get involved at home and in the studio. So thumbs up if you want them to stay, or angry faces if you want them to leave. So I'm going to start just because I know that it's going to be a good conversation. Just because I know. Let's start with Maddison. So, Maddison, thumbs up if you wanted to stay, angry faces if you would let him go.
Dell's putting 2 votes there.
If I had more, I'd hold him up.
Remember, no swearing on this one.
He's my hero. You know, I think I'm misunderstood. Obviously, if people read my Twitter quotes, I think it's fair to say Maddison has probably been one of the most talented players we have actually ever had at Peterborough United, and I genuinely mean that. He has talent, you can't fault it. His attitude, his petulance, his cheating, his diving, his individual play, his selfishness, I could go on. It's not what I want to see in a posh shirt. You know, up until a couple of years ago, I was running a junior team, under 9s, under 8s, and, you know, the kids started following, who come to Peterborough United, to be fair, and watch the Premiership, and they started copying, going down easy, cheating, diving. And it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting, and I don't want to see it. You know, if he could cut that out, he would be one hell of a player, without a shadow of a doubt. And he is wasting his career. You know, he was at Newcastle, got released, in his own words, for his bad attitude. You would have thought, you know, you're released from like a massive club, but you would have learnt your lesson. Clearly he hasn't. You know, he could be playing so high now. You know, he could be a Premier League player, he could be a top Championship player potentially, but if he's not learnt that, I don't think he'll ever learn, and it's a waste of talent that he had, to be fair.
Personally, at the start of this season, he actually cut it down quite a lot, though.
Yeah, he did.
From last season, and I thought you saw a difference. In fact, a massive difference at the start of this season. That he wasn't going down as easy. But like I say, where's his free kicks gone that he had in his locker? You know, there's that sort of aspect to his side as well. But he can win games for you. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, but he can win games, right?
Can I interrupt? Sorry, I need to interrupt. I'm sorry. He can win games for us. I see another quote, even though Dara blocked me on Twitter. You know, somebody showed me a tweet saying that stats don't mean everything, but they're quite important. How many shots Maddison's had? Maddison, I believe, has had 70-odd shots, scored 9 goals. You could say, yeah, he likes to shoot, but how many times have we watched where Maddison will drift along the edge of the area trying to find a shot for himself when there's an easy pass for somebody to guarantee a score, pretty much? He's an individual player, but when he does do something special, it is special. You know, he's had something fantastic, but there's a time and a place for it, and he needs to get his mindset of, it's a team game, I'm going to pass the ball, I'm going to play for my team rather than play for myself. Go and play golf as an individual sport. There we go.
I think we carry him. I really do. I think he can do them moments of brilliance, like we were saying, but all too often, I think we have to carry him throughout the games. Who else? Who put a thumbs up? Mr. Cole, did you put a thumbs up?
Yeah, I put a thumbs up, and I agree with what Dale said about his attitude and everything like that, but I just think he's got that bit of individualism about him. He's got that spark that can just turn a game, and we haven't got that in the team, and we need someone like that just to do the business.
Let me go back to that. Now that again, I agree with you. And I actually had a bit of a sort of a tweet with Adrian Durham. We could have carried Maddison 3-4 years ago when we actually had the players to sort of do the dirty work. We haven't got the players to do the dirty work. When you haven't got them players, you need to build a team that's going to do it so you can fit him in. If he can't fit in, he needs to either change his way of play or he needs to go and play for another team that he is going to fit in.
Well, then perhaps we need to build the team around him.
But we haven't got long enough. It will take more than a season to build a team for Maddison to fit into.
Johnny, you got any thoughts?
I honestly think that he has cost us some games this season as well by my point I've just put on the social media is that he'll pass when he should or he'll pass when he should shoot, and he'll shoot when he should pass. And that's been a lot of the times. A lot of the times you've seen him make that pass when really he shouldn't be passing. They're the opportunities where he's got the space to have a shot, but he tries a little through ball or a little trick or something to make a little ball to make something happen, and it's the wrong decision from him. He's not got the right decision head on him. He doesn't choose the right move or the right choice at the right time. And I think for as much as it was said before, he'll get across that box and he won't pass, but then suddenly he'll pass a ball when he's got through and he's got a clear open goal ahead of him, and he'll play a little ball off to the side instead of taking the shot on. His decision making just isn't worthwhile.
I was just going to say, I think it's early on in his career for McCann, but it's his biggest challenge is moulding a raw talent like Maddison, getting those negative aspects of his game out of him, telling him to stay on his feet more, making sure that he makes the right choices and things like that. I think we've got to wonder if we let him go, he could come back to bite us. He could go to somewhere else in League One and we could be on the receiving end of some of his quality.
It'd only be twice a year if he was to stay in the same league, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so, what was what the result on Facebook?
There were a lot of angry faces going across the screen, and I think Tommy Roberts actually summed it up quite well. Said he's the biggest critic of Marcus Maddison. He said his attitude has been better this year, but he still divides the fans and creates a toxic atmosphere. You know, really, there is a very fine line between people liking him and hating him, and unfortunately, there's too many things to send people the wrong side of the line.
Okay, who do we want to speak about next? Fozzie, who do you want to speak about?
Controversy, one of the players I actually hope we get rid of is Chris Forrester.
Chris Forrester.
Controversially.
Fozzie says Chris Forrester. Thumbs or angry faces? Thumbs if you want to say angry faces.
Ooh. Wow.
No, I've got to admit.
Okay, we'll go with Fozzie first then.
Yeah, I think my problem with Forrester, as is the case with a lot of our players and the squad collectively, when you look at some of the results, the goals we conceded, it's like the lad just doesn't learn. Like, you go back to Barnsley last season, there's an incident at Barnsley where he received a red card. Now, granted, Hurricane should have walked as well, and that was why we lost the game, I thought, because it was, 11 against 10 for so long. But, you'd think he'd learn how to act in that situation to ensure he doesn't get sent off. Come Walsall away, we concede a late goal, and he gets himself pointlessly sent off and banned for 3 games. It's like, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing?
He brought that over with him from Ireland, though, because that happened to him in the Irish League.
Possibly so, but I think the most frustrating thing for me actually with Forrester is you look at him, he's a good player, he can do it, but how often does he actually turn up and put in the sort of performance we know he can? That's issue number one. Issue number two, as with a lot of players, he offers absolutely nothing in attack for me. It's just backwards, sideways, maybe the odd little forward 10-yard pass, but with the team we've got with players who aren't going to run and aren't going to actually charge at the opposition, it's like, well, what good actually are you? Do you know what I mean?
That'd be the same as sort of like Maddison. You've got to figure out whether it's better to cash in on them now,
yeah,
give him another season. And Forrester's a bit like Maddison in that it might be best to cash in on him now.
Yeah.
Because you look at Forrester's 2 best performances this season, 5 came in games we still lost.
Well, personally, I think the best 2 he had was Chelsea and Scunthorpe. But I mean,
Rochdale away as well, I'd say.
But it really is. I mean, if you can get that Chris Forrester back, personally, I mean, I think what McCann will do, he'll take his captaincy off him, which he probably is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a weight off his shoulders, isn't it? If that does improve, but then how long do you give it? He probably should have taken his captaincy off him with 10 games to go this season. See if he's improving. But he didn't, and he's kept him as captain. So realistically, I don't think he should be captain next season. I'd still like to see him at the club because I know he's got that quality in him. I mean, where's the Chris Forrester from last year? Because
that's what you want to see.
That's what you want to see.
Let's go to Chris and the audience.
Yeah, I think we'll go over to George first because he, unlike the rest of them, actually put a thumbs up. So we'll see what your views are.
Well, I do agree with you that if it comes to a financial decision and someone does offer us a good deal of money, send him on his way. But I just think if there's going to be a massive clear out this year, we're going to need someone who obviously as the captain, we're going to need someone like him who's still got some of the essence or the spine of the team, so he can sort of, in a way, still run the side and run the midfield, but sort of help to use the other younger sides. I could see him maybe doing what Grant McCann's done in a few years if he stays here, maybe become manager of a team. It's an idea.
I don't think he's got it. I think what we got Anthony Grant for. That's my view. You reckon? No. Who, Forrester? Anthony Grant, I think, is our future. I know he's 29 years old, but I think when he first started playing down here, when he first signed, he was awesome in the midfield. He's got time on the ball and everything. I think players around him could learn a lot from him, more so than from Forrester. That's all I was thinking. I just think we should take, like you suggested, if we get an offer for Forrester, I think we should take it. Last season, different player. When he first came, he was awesome. But I've not seen that. Well, like you say, I've seen it twice. I didn't go to the other game. I saw him at Chelsea. He was good. Apart from that, I've not thought he was got above 6 out of 10 for any game, to be honest.
disappointed if he actually stays, though, are they?
No, and I wouldn't be disappointed. But if we got an offer, I should say, take it.
I think the last few home games down here this season showed it. I mean, we were all sat there because we all sit close to each other, obviously, in the stands, and we're all saying, where's the second ball winner in that midfield? There was no one close to winning that second ball any time. As a central midfielder, especially with him being a central midfielder, he should be winning them second balls, picking that possession back up. He just weren't doing it. And it's so frustrating because you're just inviting the pressure back on yourself there by not winning them second balls. And in my eyes, I always say that a good central midfielder, you shouldn't. I don't feel as a good centre midfielder you should talk about him after the game. A good centre midfielder does what he needs to. He gets a tackle and he pops the ball off. That's what he should be there for. We're going out and thinking, well, Forrester made this mistake. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. And in my eyes, like I say, I think a good centre midfielder. If I go away from a game, I didn't even realise. Yeah. But it's a notice because he does what a centre midfielder should do. He wins the challenges, pops the balls off, doesn't do anything too extravagant. That's what the wingers are for. That's what the forwards are for. He does what a centre midfielder is there to do.
Personally, you look back to yesterday, and yes, we struggled yesterday massively, but I can actually only recall 2 shots on target. Who did they both come from?
Nichols.
No, Chris Forrester. What we're just talking about. He had 2 shots outside the box. Yes, they weren't really goal threatening, but it was only really 2. And D-Mac said it last night on Twitter. The ones that stumble across into the keeper's hands. He was probably getting into them opportunities that if he actually wrapped his foot round it, like he did at Rochdale, first game of the season, he was in the position to get the goal.
Was Forrester's seasons hampered by the fact that we went on a couple of bad results and McCann changed it up a bit and brought Bozzy in, and suddenly Bozzy sitting in front of that defence just was working for us, and that was essentially.
Well, just scoring 90 minutes against Coppers.
But when Bozzy came in front of the defenders, Bozzy was doing fantastically for us, and that was where Forrester was lined up to be, and he suddenly kind of lost his place in the team where he would be normally playing. And he juggled him about a few times, playing up front or on the wings and things like that. It just didn't work out. And maybe we've got this issue where we've got 3 players, you include Bozzy, who's gone on the transfer list, 3 players for that defensive midfield role, and I think we only probably need 2 in the squad. So Forrester is probably the one to cash in on, because I think a lot of people would want to keep hold of Bozzy. A similar kind of thing. It was kind of split really in the opinions of people. I think, like we saw in the audience here, someone suggested that they've heard that Forrester wants to move back to Ireland as well. I'd have thought it would be a step up if someone in the Championship came in.
No, not happy, but you shouldn't you just still perform?
Yeah.
You should still perform.
That was my issue, because
perform no matter how much you played your professional football. If you were at school and you missed a sitter, you got beat up.
You could do as well, yeah.
Stamford was rough.
No.
Yeah, I went to
but for me, he's one of the players to me who I think has, to a point, down tools maybe since February, because to me, what annoys me about so many of our players, yeah, fair enough, maybe the season's over and whatever, but you pay good money for this profession. I'm sorry, you've got to put the effort in week out. I don't mind so much if you get smashed every week and lose games, but Saturday 3 o'clock, Tuesday 7:45, you've got to be ready to put the effort in for 90 minutes. I don't think Forrester's done that at all.
How do you think his mentality was affected as well by the fact that Bozzy then got himself injured after being in the team for a while? Forrester would have probably thought, I'm immediately going to be stepping back into the team here, and we go out and buy Grant straight away in January. We go out and buy someone to replace Bozzy rather than looking in our own squad to bring Forrester back into the position he wants to play.
Could have knocked him.
Nah.
What will be interesting though next season when Anderson gets back to fitness, where's Forrester going to be coming in? Where's Grant going to be coming in? I can't see us playing 4-3-3.
We seem to have packed the squad with defensive and we have attacking midfielders. I mean, the last attacking midfielder we had was Ostein. Now they're all defensive. You've got Forrester, you've got Grant. Leo's more defensive than attacking. Boswickley goes to midfield, it's more defensive than
Anderson as well.
Anderson, it's all defensive midfielders.
Is that?
That's where we've changed over the years, because we always had attacking players. That's where we relied on goals to come.
We've got Marcus Madison.
Is that
He's not a centre midfielder though, is he? Like,
you're on about Oztumen that wasn't good enough to play for us, but actually yes, he just picked up the Players' Player of the season. Yeah, it's it's
medal in it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do 2 quick ones. Tom Nichols. One that's come up, Michael Smith. Michael Smith comes up a lot recently as well.
Oh, Coley. Go to Coley, I think.
I just don't think he's performed this season. I was surprised that we let Hayden go out, because I thought Hayden White would have been given a bit more of a chance, to be honest. I mean, Smithy scored that great goal against Bolton down here. You can't knock him for that. But I don't think he was. Again, he's another. Like Forrester last season, I thought he was outstanding, but I think this season he's gone off the boil. I don't know why.
You say that. I mean, I went onto the official Posh Forum last night, and there was a Mansfield fan that came on just to say thanks for Shaq and Hayden. They said we're quite happy. We can have Shaq back quite happily, even after at the start he actually started scoring for them. But he said Hayden's probably been their best player of the season. So, yet again, that's a League Two club now. Yeah, he's performed there, but we never really saw him. We saw him at Rochdale, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic. But I don't see, because it was the first signing that Grant made last year, weren't it?
Yeah, he was. He was the first signing.
Yeah. Blackpool, weren't it? So and then we obviously go and sign him, but I was quite disappointed that we didn't see him. Is he the plan? Because Smithy didn't. I don't even think he made the bench yesterday, did he?
I think.
Was he on the bench?
Because he was unhappy. He was unhappy at not playing. He was really down about it. That's why we shipped him out. Otherwise, we would have kept him round his backup.
Okay, let's move on. Just on the flip side then, who do we need in? Who do we need in? Names have been mentioned a lot. Obviously, the done deal apparently for a guy called Ricky Miller. Now, Fozzie and Adam, you had quite a heated debate about Ricky Miller. I think we should reenact that debate in the studio.
Go on, you start.
I'll be honest
with you. Who's for and who's against it?
I'm for, but I think what you've done, and I've actually kept it in my memory, you've just said that Anthony Grant at the age of 29 is a good player to have in the squad, but Ricky Miller at the age of 28 isn't. So, if you look at it, Macau Smith's now 33. 5 years ago, which he would have been 28, he was banging them in just when he was getting promoted. I don't think you can use his age as a factor. Yes, it's 28. It's a higher age to have at the club. But no one scores. He's had 42 this season now, hasn't he? Because he got a hat-trick yesterday, or Saturday even. I don't think you can get anyone score 42 goals in a season. And if he got 10 here, it would be a success for him.
For him, we wouldn't consider it a success.
No, but I don't think you don't get 42 in the conference at that level. You're only stepping up 2 leagues. Okay, now I know it is a big jump, but let's be honest. I think he would suit in the team, but I think he would also help you likes of Nichols, because I think Nichols will come good. I just think he needs a strike partner. You look at Sheffield United, they've got the strike partners. We've mixed and matched all season. So, but personally, I'm yes. But Fozzie's now going to say.
Go on, Fozz.
Well, going back on the Anthony Grant point, I mean, you look at his career. Fair enough, you could say he's only been, if you like, a fairly decent lower league player. But if you look at some of the clubs he's left, maybe it's no coincidence that when he left Crewe, they went down the next season. Maybe it's no coincidence that he left Port Vale. Look at them now. Maybe there's no coincidence there. Going back to Ricky Miller, though, I think the thing that bugs me about him is, you mentioned his age, he's 28, but he's had a pretty long career in the game, albeit at the lower levels. This is the first time, from what I can gather, he's really set anything alight. And even then, it was only in the conference for a side that actually failed to get the playoffs. So when he's getting to that end of the career, if we're buying him as sort of our main hope for goals, that for me is very, very worrying, to be honest.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I want to see him do well.
Yeah.
If we sign him, I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to score 15 to 20. But I still think it's too much like Scott Rendell and all the other really.
Ben Wright, that's who he reminds me of.
But he's a free agent, isn't he? Yeah. So is it worth the gamble?
Depends what we're paying on wages.
It does, but surely what we're going to pay him on wages.
Be at the lower end of that.
Yeah, but what we're going to pay him on wages sort of cancels out the transfer fee, which we could have potentially paid for another striker.
It's not just that. It's the sheer maths of it. It's like he's filling another space that we could use by bringing someone else in. I mean, do we want to bring a lone striker in? Do we want to bring an experienced league striker in? Are we going to keep McCall Smith? It's questions like this, and for me, when you look at it, weigh up the costs and benefits, is it really worth it? I don't think it is.
Let's go to the audience. Coley?
I'm just saying, what about Matty Stevens? Brought him in. He was supposed to be a prolific scorer, wasn't he?
For the future, though, they said, didn't they?
Yeah, but I mean, he's.
How far's the future?
Yeah, I'm just.
Gormley was technically that as well.
I just think we should be giving people like him the opportunity. I mean, I think he's still. Is he still at Sligo? Is it Sligo? Yeah, they're not doing too well, are they? But I don't know if he's scoring.
West
Did he?
never went there, mate. Robertson did.
No, Robertson.
Yeah.
West Ham's up Newport.
What about so Miller then? Anyone?
I think one thing we haven't touched on is the fact that he's a local lad. He's from Bretton. Some people on social media have basically said, you know, him coming down here, it might be a different atmosphere than some of the players brought in, like Scott Rendell, because he's playing for the badge. It's his local side, the team he grew up with. And also, we were talking about some of these non-league players that came in and haven't performed for us. You've got to think of the likes of McLean, McHale Smith, Boydie. They're people we got from non-league, and they did perform at this level for us. So, you know, it's a gamble, but if he's a free agent, your local lad, I don't see the problem doing it. Give it a go.
Let's be honest, if you was a professional footballer and you was playing at, I mean, Dover is quite away from here, isn't it? If you got the chance to move back home where your mates are, your family are, you're going to want to impress. So.
But does he want to move back to Peterborough? Because I wouldn't want to move back here.
Yeah, but you're not moved away, have you?
No.
You're still here. Yeah.
I've lived away for 5 years, I can vouch for that.
I'm always wary now, thanks to Gormley, of players that have come from overseas or lower leagues. Well, you look at Gormley, some of the defensive, some of the players he was playing against in Ireland, and Foz made the point he was playing mechanics in the conference. So, is it really going to be worth it? I think it is worth it in the sense that he's a free agent. Worst comes to worst, he's maybe on a 2-year contract. We can ship him back off, or on loan. All I'm going to say is don't buy him a taxi.
If it does come good, and he turns out to be a Peterborough-born lad who does well and scores a lot for us, then brilliant.
One thing I will give Adam, you see some of the YouTube highlights, he does look quite good, he is quite strong, he is quite quick on return, but the problem is, who remembers that video of Danny Swanson before we signed him?
Oh yeah, sausage Messi.
Yeah. That's some of the reason why people are just so wary now, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, good stuff, good conversation. Let's move on to the next award then, and this award is for the Talk Posh Player of the Season. I think this is an easy one, to be honest. Anyway, this is voted by our Twitter followers. The nominations are Michael Boswick, Luke McGee, Taff or Grion Edwards. The winner, nice and easy, definitely won't Luke McGee. Boswick, what a player, what a man. I think it's been quality this season. Unfortunately, he couldn't come in tonight. Yeah, sorry about that. He did send us this message. Cheers. Man of many words. Again, he's been awesome this year, isn't he?
Yeah. And if we had 11 Michael Boswicks, I think we might be in a different situation. Yeah. You know, people are umming and ahhing whether. I think personally, if what Darrow offers him, he would take the contract. Whether his agent will, I don't know. But I think he's been here 6 years though, that's the only thing, isn't it? He's been here 6 years, but then again he has seen the, you know, in that 6 years he's had the promotion, he's had the relegation, he's had the JPT, but then it's the 4 years which we've had now back in the but we say 4 years, I mean, I'm not ripping it, but it did take Sheffield United 6 years to get out of the league, so realistically
so it leads 3.
Exactly, you know, and it's something that we've got to look at now. Is having Boswick here a bad thing? You know, I think personally, I'd love to see him here again.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's people out there that don't want to see him.
I think
and that's the thing.
Whether he stays or not is going to be determined on the rebuilding.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to rebuild heavily, I mean really heavily, then he's the top earner at the club. You've got to assume that.
Yeah.
And probably buy quite a bit as well. So if you're going to do a lot of rebuilding, his wages could go towards 2 or 3 different players.
I think
if you're only looking to bring in a handful of players, then you can probably afford to keep him on as well. So it all depends how many we're going to bring in.
Depends how many we're going to lose as well, because I think from what McCann said, we could be losing quite a few. Yeah. Realistically, if he's back in that position of the central holding midfield, which he played at Northampton at home, You know, I think that is his position. We've been playing in right back, we've been playing in centre mid. I think the only position he's not played is keeper, and it's something that he needs a position, and I think he can learn on that position. But then I don't think you can have him and Anthony Grant in the same team.
Is that not the problem though with Bostwick? Is he going to want to be a bit part player next season? Because if you consider the two main roles he has in the team, he plays a central defensive role sometimes in midfield, or he plays as a central defender. And in either of those positions, is he automatically your first choice for that pick? He could probably get offered a contract at a League Two side and be guaranteed to pretty much play 40 plus games next season.
He's been guaranteed to play all season this season, hasn't he? So is he just?
But you know, if Grant comes good next season, I mean, would we have brought Grant in if we didn't anticipate playing him some part of next season? Is he going to get in defence? I mean, Baldwin and Tafazoli, you'd think if they're both fit, we'll start ahead of him.
Sorry, keep talking about Andy Grant. My view on Andy Grant is we need to keep Bostwick because the amount of times that Andy Grant's going to be suspended throughout the season.
Granted, that is a fair point. I'll give you that.
You know, personally, I can see Andy Grant. You know, he's a class player. There's no doubt about it. His control with the ball, his passing, his calm, his temperament, and his sort of disciplinary levels are disgusting. Now this season. Exactly this season, I think we've been, one of the worst years for red cards, yellow cards. Is that right? Been pretty bad. Is he the sort of player that we need to be signing to try and improve it?
I think it was the last throw of the dice. I mean, before the fans were saying, "Are we going to do anything going up to the end of the season to even try to push for the playoffs?" And Darrow's answer to that was, "Stop Paul Taylor going to Mansfield for that money. Otherwise, we would have taken it of the $100 grand or whatever it was, and to sign Grant."
Well,
I think they were both desperate acts.
Yeah, I think they were, and unfortunately, I just want to go back to what you said about D-Mac. Also, me personally, I respect everything he's done so far, but I think he's one of the problems of why everybody expects so much. The hype. We need to be in the playoffs. We need to be promoted. Before he come along, and appreciate that, just say, most of us, if there's some young ones in here, probably wouldn't remember the 80s and the 90s, where he was Dross. He used to come down here and we knew he was going to come, I've got to force himself down, and it was not very good. It wasn't very good. But, then we had Darragh come in, and I think we were a victim of our own success. We had 4, 5, 6 fantastic years, and they were superb. And I think a lot of people expected it to be the same. But unfortunately, that ain't life. You have to sort of pick yourself up, build yourself up, and he hasn't helped with the way he hypes players up, the way he portrays fans throwing their views. And I think we need to sort of all pull together, fans, chairman, manager, players, and sort out the disciplinary procedures.
But he only said last night that if you think he's hyped it up this season, wait till July, because he said that he's going to hype it up even more. So.
Is it really worth? We might have done it before, but is it worth giving him the captaincy if Forest leaves?
He doesn't want the captaincy.
He turned it down a couple of seasons back, didn't he?
And the worst he's ever played for us was while he was captain.
I agree with that.
You're gonna have to. But
or Guion if you want to push the boat out.
I think personally, it's going to be a centre back. With Taffel Baldwin. Baldwin wears this. He wears the what's badge on his shirt anyway, and because he's one that we've got to offer a new contract to as well, isn't it? So. But he said he's a fan, and let's be honest, Baldwin owes it to us, doesn't he? Yeah. So we paid his wage and so for a good year while he was out. So personally, I think that's the way we've got to go.
Okay, we're going to go for a quick break. In the meantime, here's the goals again for the season. Just make sure you get your votes in, and so the goal of the season, I think, A, B, C, or D, and where we go.
Right, so you might have noticed that we've just lost Luke. He's just had to make an emergency dash to the toilet. What we're going to do is we're just going to have a quick look at the moment of the season again. But like I say, a lot of views were coming in there with A for Guion against Charlton, which realistically, I reckon it was. I mean, it was probably the goal that I think personally was goal of the season personally. You know that for Charlton.
Yeah, it was.
I was as well. Yeah.
Like I say,
that was where we made Lookman look like he was rubbish.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. But like I say, I think what actually happened with that goal is that it came from nowhere. You know, I mean, we was controlling the game. Dashing back in. We was controlling the game very well that day, and like I say, I'll put that in probably one of the best away days as well. But it was the way that he did. And the thing with Guion is, I think that if we kept him fit,
Could have been quite.
he would have been player of the season.
Might have lost player of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
The whole season.
But also, I reckon that we might not be sat in the 11th position. I'll say that in that way.
We've been going to Bolton with a chance, I reckon, of nicking it.
Just to appease a couple of fans on social media, a couple of people have been coming in for vote E for goal of the season, which is Forest against Northampton. The reason we didn't include it in the actual goal of the season is because we put it in with the moment of the season. So we didn't want to double up on it in case it won both the awards. So
we don't do doubling up, you know. I don't
I don't know what we're talking about.
Charlton away and Guion's goal.
Nothing has changed whatsoever.
I just had to take a really urgent phone call.
In the toilet?
In the toilet, yeah.
No.
Yeah, where are we?
Well, we're just literally just talking about the goal of the season with how Guion and that. But like I say, we're now going to go back to where we were.
Thanks.
Okay. Back over to you, Luke.
Cheers, guys. Right, we've got two more awards coming up. The Talk Posh Pundit of the Year and Twitter User of the Season, again as voted by our Twitter followers. The nominations are for the Talk Posh Twitter was Ian Gale, Kev Cook, Emerald Posh and Daz Moody.
That's a truly horrific category, can I just say?
Truly horrific. Dale was a bit disappointed, mate, weren't you? He was disappointed. He was disappointed that we weren't in it, but anyway, so the winner of that was.
I see Ian Gale.
I see Ian Gale.
I see Ian Gale. That's a troll, that one.
No, that's a troll. Oh. Wow.
Where's the ginger?
That says something, doesn't it?
Do you know what one look like?
Anyway, we'll move on. Talk Posh Pundit of the Year. Nominations were Adam, Ben, Foggy, and Chris, and the winner. It was quite overwhelming, actually, wasn't it? It was quite
close.
Quite close, yeah. The winner was.
I think
him.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Mr. Drummer Boy.
Yeah, yes, 60. I think I made.
I think he promised to stop drumming if people voted for him.
One day it'll happen, I promise you.
Well, thank you to the 10 people who did vote for me.
And the 34, and the 34 who voted for me. Wasn't expecting that either.
You've got 9 accounts, haven't you?
Okay, so I think we should open up the floor. Any questions from the audience that we wanted, any topics that we want to speak about, or on social media as well. Anything at all? Chris?
Yeah, I don't think we're talking about Madison enough.
We've done a lot of that this season, actually, and the league. I think just going on some of the things that we've not been able to touch on so far on social media. Talking of justice for Ollie, Ollie's come in with a rumour that is it Lewin, the guy at Everton? We know Ollie's a bit of an Everton fan.
Albert Lewin.
Yes, that guy there. He said there's rumours that he's coming here on loan next season, but because Everton have a policy of paying the wages of people they send out on loan, it fits the bill because I think it was McCansley said he's not going to.
He said he's not going to touch any loan.
He said he wasn't going to do it if he had to fork out a load of money for him to come here. So that might be a possibility. Pardon? He's a striker, I think. Young striker.
He can play out wide as well, but he's starting for them at the moment, so I don't really see that happening.
How many times has Darren McCanty said we're not going to do something?
Then we do it.
Yeah.
Luke James, that was the most blatant example of that, wasn't it?
Another point some people have picked up on is if we don't make a big summer sale, really, are we going to be able to rebuild the squad to the level that we've been talking about? I think it was Paul Wiley said, if we don't get like a big six-figure sum for someone like Maddison, are we going to be able to bring in like 4 or 5 players?
The thing which you've got to look at, and I mean, McAnthony will back the club as far as he can. How well is his new business doing? You know, how much revenue are we going to get from that potentially? Because you know, it's not like he's selling 2-bedroom apartments down Lincoln Road, is it? He's big 5-6 mansions in Orlando, so there's money in there, isn't there?
That's not our revenue.
It's not, but he would do it though, wouldn't he?
Can he do that anymore though? 'Cause that's how we used to have the shirt sponsorship, because it's circumventing the rules.
Yeah.
They allowed us to have that big wage budget, but they put a stop to that, didn't they? Yeah. So I don't think there's any other way he could actually get the money into the club.
But he's obviously got money behind him, hasn't he?
Oh,
It's just, it depends what he's going to put in, you know. I personally think we're going to get one. You know, you look at Maddison, Forest, or Leo. I think that's where our money potentially is. You know, that will all 3 go?
And
that's the question. If all 3
true about the Lopez and 2 million and plus add-ons, you know, up to about 4 million. If it was, I'd say that's the one to take out of all.
Yeah. There might not be enough in itself though. That's the only problem.
And just
Chris, let's go back to Chris.
One last tweet I just wanted to point out. Someone has come in and said that the signing of the summer was the ground, because it's been absolutely fantastic, the pitch this season.
I want to ask, right, what's people's views on Morias? Or is it just me that really likes him? I think he's going to be a big fan next year.
I like him as well, yeah.
He definitely deserves to be one of the 4 strikers here. I think with a bit of good coaching behind him, he can push his way into like top 2 strikers, if not at the start of the season, but by Christmas.
I think,
I think he's one of those that could really, really push on next year.
He probably does need to go down the gym for a little bit, you know, during the summer, because.
What amazes me is the fact that why hasn't he been playing, and why has Craig
I've been saying this as well.
Smith been playing? Because you think, you know, Craig was a legend, you know, he's still a legend, but I mean, he's past his sell-by date, I think, and you know, Junior is our.
I've got a view on that, sorry. Morias, when he first come on, he looked big. My little boy calls him a rugby player, from the physique, how big he is. But even in the last few months he's been here, he's actually sort of shed a lot of that. He looks like he's shed a lot of that sort of bulk and become more fitter and sharper. And I think it's probably why he's not been playing week in, week out, in my opinion. I don't know. There we go, sorry.
I think Morias should be playing, but what I think we do need to do is, like we were talking about earlier, is we haven't got the plan Bs and the plan Cs for the team, and I think we need a tall forward up there, because we've quite often in the last 10 minutes when we've resorted in the game trying long balls up front, Macco Smith isn't going to be winning you the headers, Morias isn't going to be winning you the headers, Nichols isn't winning you the headers. We need someone up there who can actually take the ball out of the air and bring it down and create them chances up there. And we were talking about Miller earlier. I'd say, why don't we go in for someone like Vaughan? He's got 24 goals this season in League One. He's proved that he can do goal scoring there. He's 28. He's got the strength. He's got the height. That would be one of my options too.
And how much is he on every week? We don't know that either.
Yeah, but it's one that I'd consider seriously. He's at the bottom of the table, and at least we will hopefully be pushing higher up or mid-table again. Berry, I can't see him doing much again next season. In my honest opinion.
Cool, good stuff. Thank you for all the comments at home as well. And just sorry about the echo. We will really get that sorted out for next season. It just keeps on happening. We don't know why. Again, we'll blame Alex for it. Just because you can't see him. Anyway, we're just going to move on for another award. Now, this one has been chosen by the Talk Posh team. It's a special recognition award for someone at the club that has done an absolutely cracking job and has, I'm sure you would all agree, produced a work of art, and the winner of that award is Dan the Groundsman. So well done, Dan. Dan couldn't be with us today, but I talked to him earlier and he was very thankful for that. So yeah, I'm sure it looks brilliant, don't it, boys? So
I'd say it's fantastic, and I mean realistically, you look at some grounds. I mean, you look at Oldham's, it's horrendous, and I think it's disappointing that we've actually had bad home form, because we've got the perfect pitch to play on. You know,
might be wide.
that, yeah, I was going to say. Can we go back to
I think
that's,
it's shame.
That's one less thing for the players to hide behind. Can't blame the pitch. Can't blame player cells.
Yeah,
I've seen 3 seasons where the pitch don't look as nice.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully, you know, we can carry it on next season. But I mean, we can't start working until probably after the Elton John concert, can we? Which I said to you earlier.
And like it was said, Sean Brown just obviously came in. It was said it was voted the 4th best pitch in League One as well, behind I guess people with undersoil heating and stuff like that. So
we're the highest without undersoil heating, was it? Something like that.
So basically, Bolton, Sheffield, and Millwall ahead of us, presumably.
So yeah, all good. So oh yeah, by the way, so the competition winner. So we ran a competition to actually play on Dan's masterpiece on the 19th of May. The winners were selected earlier, and they are a Stuart Owen and a Sean Errington. So we'll get in contact with you to give you all the details of 19th of May, and you can come down there and play. So one last award then to do, and that is the Goal of the Season award, voted by you as we've done the show, and the winner was this.
No, definitely.
What a goal. Great stuff. I think that's about it for the show tonight. I just want to thank everyone at home that's been supporting us throughout the season. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all the boys that came in tonight as well in the studio.
Yeah, thank you guys.
To Alex, the director, and the person that messes up. Thanks to Fozzie, the Sheffield United fan. Thanks to Adam, the drummer.
You couldn't resist that, could you?
Thanks to Chris and Ben as well. Really appreciate it, boys. We'll be back just before next season starts. In the meantime, have a good summer. Up the posh.
Take care.